Hi, United in Recovery family. I want to share with you a message this week about romance. Imagine that. Indeed, Valentine's Day is coming up, and it's a time when we think about that. And sometimes we think about that and we're happy for the romance in our lives, and sometimes we're resentful that it's not in our lives, or that the person who is in our lives is the relationship isn't going the way we'd want it to. So I want to share with you a little bit about that, because sometimes it can be our romantic escapades or our romantic resentments that can throw us off the path of sobriety. And so we want to make sure that romance has the right place in our lives. And one thing you often hear in the recovery community is that developing a romantic relationship is often called the 13th step, right? You work the 12 steps, and then the 13th step is you get to the point where you can have this relationship. And many of us need to not have a relationship while we're going through the steps, unless we're already married and in a committed relationship like that. So I just want to share with you a few things. That first, some things to reflect on if you're not in a relationship. Remember that first step, we admitted that our lives had become unmanageable. Until you're able to manage your life soberly on your own, you're probably not yet ready for a romantic relationship to put more to manage into your life. And this can also be especially true for those of us who struggle with codependency. I hear people say a lot of times that, I just have a codependent personality. And I would argue against that. I don't think you have a codependent personality. I think you have an underdeveloped sense of independence and ability to be independent. And I think that you have codependent habits that often, that at those times when you need to develop that independence, you reach for another person rather than doing some of the stuff maybe you need to do on your own. So I would share this with you if that's where you're coming from, that until you can be happy with just yourself, it's going to be hard to be happy with someone else. And I think that's a good thing for us to remember in all our recovery, that when we've done the recovery, when we become happy with ourselves, then we're at the point where we can invite that someone else into our lives. And then that can be a really healthy and wholesome and just a wonderful, wonderful relationship in our lives. So think about that in your recovery. Am I ready for this? Am I happy with myself so that I can be happy with someone else? I want to talk to those of you today who are in committed relationships. Maybe you're married, maybe you have a significant other, and simply say, hey guys, just make sure you get something nice on the 14th. Unless you want to go back working the steps about making amends, just make sure you take care of that. But more than that, to think about, and not just in our romantic relationships, but in all our relationships, how can you give the person you're in a relationship with two gifts? One, the gift of empathy, and two, the gift of honesty. Those are so important as we look at step 12 of practicing these principles in all our affairs. The gift of empathy, of when we really care about people, trying to understand things from their point of view and their lived experience. Like, it doesn't quite matter so much what we think of it, it's how they feel about it, right? That we have to start by caring about. And then the gift of honesty. And this can be so hard for us sometimes in our friendships or in our romantic relationships when we come through recovery, of being honest about who we are. Because sometimes we have things we want to cover up. And being honest about what we think, because sometimes we think, if I ever share what I really think with anybody, they'll reject me. But I want to share with you, if you're going to be in a close friendship or a romantic relationship, a great thing to ask is this someone who I want to empathize with, that I can say, I really want to see things from your point of view. And is this someone that I can be honest about my point of view? So I hope in your open share groups tonight, you'll talk a little bit about and share with one another when you know that you're ready for a relationship, what that might have been like for you, or if you're still wrestling with that question. And then also how you've developed empathy and honesty in your relationships, and maybe some of the challenges there, because I think those are ways to rich relationship growth. I think those are ways to spiritual growth and certainly to growth in our recovery. So I hope you're doing well. I hope to see you soon, and you'll be in my prayers until then. God bless you.